right.
We only had CO.
And then if you'll press your display or your reset button. Okay.
19.
So we can choose latching or non-latching alarms. All right. So everybody know what we did there? We breathed out CO2. It displaced the oxygen, so it caused our oxygen to drop below 19.5, which caused it to go into alarm. All right. All right. So I'd like for you to go to your peak screens now and tell me how low your oxygen went to. Remember, we pressed our display adjust button one time.
16.
All right. So what have we got? 16.5?
16.9 and 1 ppm.
Back there, sir.
Just one time and then go to display, hit enter.
Press the display button one time.
Just one time.
I'm sorry. And twice.
Yeah,
because it goes PID, then it goes.
now it shows peak.
All right. So what's our peak? She had 16.9, 18, 18.1,
16.4.
okay, 16.4. So 16.4. Y'all had the worst breath in here. Awesome. All right, that's great. Could have been from last night. Anyway, so
the H2S went to 10 also. What's that mean?
Means you're rotten. 0.5.
All right. I got some funny jokes about that, but here we go. So what we've done is we've looked at our peak screen. We see how low our oxygen went. Anytime we turn the instrument off and back on, it's going to reset our peaks, our stales, and our TWAs. Got it? Anytime, I must have the ability, though, to reset my peak values without turning the instrument off so it doesn't corrupt my stale and TWAs. All right? So it's probably timed out on you now. So if you will go back to your peak screen, I think you have to press the display adjust button twice, right? Once you get there, press your reset button in and keep it held in. It'll tell you when to release it, I believe. All right? And when you release it, your peak should be now back at 20.9 or close to it. Okay? So that's how you reset your peak values. Again, if I turn the instrument off and I turn it back on, it's going to reset all those. Okay?
So otherwise, it's just going to maintain that peak value throughout the entire period that it's been running.
Until you turn it off. Yes, sir.
Until another higher reading, I guess, unless...
Higher or lower?
Yeah, lower on your O2, higher on all the other channels. Yep, yep. All right, any questions on that? All right, so I think we've talked about all the real-time modes. We've talked about the use and operation. We talked about confined space. Will this group, the first session, do we need to talk about calibration or bump? Or is that only going to be for the second group?
No, you
No, bump test they should do.
Cal and bump, I mean,
Yeah.
for the...
Okay. Are all these going to be held in one place with the one cal station?
No, there will be 3 different stations.
The cal station will be at station 1.
Yes.
Each of the units will be on one at each of the stations.
Okay. On the, where they're at the stations without the calibration station, will they have calibration gas to do bump check?
No, they'll have to go to the other station to do the bump check.
Okay. All right.
To come to the, yeah, it's going to be like on Friday.
Okay.
We get 3 or 4 months. Just 3.
So I have to tell you what OSHA requires, and then you can set up your own date line. So OSHA says you must follow the manufacturer's recommendations for the upkeep of the equipment that you have. So they put the fault back on the manufacturer to say what they require. So for the RKI Gx-6012, and this is true with any gas detector, they will recommend that you bump it before the first use within a 24-hour period of time. Okay? So what that means, if I bump it once in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, I can use that gas detector again till the next day at 7 a.m. without bumping it again. Okay? By the letter of the law. Now, if I've got it sitting and I'm not using it for 3 months, I don't have to bump it a single day until that 3 months come, and then I need to bump it. Okay?
So as long as we don't use it, we just have to bump it.
Before the first use within a 24-hour period of time. He's probably already got SOPs, taken care of. Okay. So,
What do you mean by bumping?
Okay.
okay, so in your on your calibration station here, when you dock an instrument, and literally to dock it, I've got the unit powered on now, you place it in the device and you push this big red button that says push until it locks. Once it locks, you're going to have a green LED that flashes there with the information of the instrument on the display. On the screen, you will have a bump button and you will have a calibrate button. If you press the bump button, it will automatically do a bump test for you, okay? Now you can also achieve this by literally having the gas not going into any modes and just applying the cylinder of gas to it for 5 seconds. Because all we're trying to do on a bump test is make sure there's no blockage from the prior usage of the instrument, right? We don't want a water molecule developed over our carbon monoxide sensor, the capillary there, because it'll sit there and read 0 all day long. But so the only way we can make sure it's working is we challenge it with gas and make sure everything responds. Does that make sense? Okay. Calibration. It's recommended that you calibrate, I believe, every 3 months. I'll have to check. I think it's either 3 or 6 months. A minimum of once every 3 or 6 months. Same thing goes for this. You dock it, instead of hitting the bump button, you hit a calibrate button. It'll come up and it'll show you which channels passed. Hopefully it'll show you all 5 that's passed. Then you take it out, it automatically resets your calibration date. Not only does it calibrate it, but it does a 0 first, does a purge, calibrates it, then it checks the alarm levels, or checks the alarms that they work, visual and the audible, and then it purges again and it automatically turns the instrument off. Okay? And I'll tell you that it passed. Now, one thing when you dock it, you want to take that rubber wand hickey thing that you're going to lose in 15 minutes. Anyway. So, you take that off when you place it in there, and the instrument must be turned off when you place it in there. Because when you dock it and you push the red button down and it locks it, it automatically turns the instrument on. Okay? Any questions about that?
So if we get it wet, if we get them wet, what do we mean? Is that gonna mess them up, obviously? If we get water in them?
It's got the double filter.
It does have double filter. It's rated IP67, and IP67 means it can take jet streams of water from any direction without penetration to the electronics. It's got one of the best IP ratings on the market for gas detection. But if you submerge it, and it's submerged for half an hour, you're probably going to have some issues with it. So if I got my instrument wet, I would take the unit apart and just make sure the sensors are dry. And then I would do a calibration after that, and then I would be ready to go.
So that's what I'm saying, if it gets water while it's running like this, it's gonna suck water inside.
Yep.
No,
well,
it's a hydrophobic filter that's on there.
Yeah.
So it should keep water from getting inside the flow chamber and in contact
And
with
it'll
the
shut
sensor.
those.
So if I shut it off
It'll
and
shut
shake it
off,
out.
it'll recognize that as,
Yeah.
as an obstruction and shut off the pump. So it's not gonna continue drawing.
Okay. But on a scene, if I shut it off then and shake it out, can I go back to using it?
only if I have gas would I use it.
I got you.
Because you can bump and calibrate it.
Okay. So if we get water in them, then we need to get a different monitor.
And I always felt on the most safe. So in 30 years, I've had legal hearings, we've had fatalities, we've had lots of injuries, people not using the equipment properly, other issues. And I'll tell you a couple of things real quick. Number one, never bump or calibrate with an expired cylinder of gas. They all have a best use by date on them. If you start to see that getting within 1 to 2 months, please tell whoever you need to about ordering another cylinder of gas, okay? Because I tell you, if you are in a legal hearing, they will ask you, and if you have bumped it or calibrated it with expired gas, it's like you never did any bump or ever did any calibration, okay? All right, it's one thing you want to be aware of there. I think for the general use, I have covered everything. Does anybody have any questions over what we went through? Good? All right, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll start with the second session, but I got to tell you a joke first, because I've only told you one, which is very rare for me. So, but it's Friday, I'm trying to get you guys out, trying to get myself out. So, all right, you get to choose between a monkey joke or a blonde joke.
Monkey joke.
Oh, you chose the dirty one. All right. So there's this guy, he walks into a bar and he's got a monkey on his shoulder. He walks into the bar, he looks at the bartender and he goes, "Can I please have a chance to have a drink and a meal at your establishment?" He goes, "Well, no, you can't." I said, "You notice there's a sign that says no pets allowed." I said, "You can't do that." And he goes, "Look, this is a highly trained monkey. I promise he's not going to bother anybody. He's not going to do anything I don't tell him it's okay to do." They go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, the bartender agrees. So he sits down. He orders his drink. He has his drink. He orders his salad. He's eating about half his salad. And all of a sudden, the monkey goes nuts. jumps off his shoulder and starts running down the bar, picking fruit out of everybody's drink. Jumps off the bar, runs over to a pool table, jumps on the pool table, swallows a cue ball. The bartender's going nuts, screaming, saying, "You told me he wouldn't bother any other customers, he wasn't going to do anything you didn't allow him to do, or tell him it was okay." He said, "You get your monkey and get out of here." The guy apologized, pays his bill, leaves. 1 year later, same guy, same monkey, same bartender. So he walks in, he said, "Sir, I'd like to ask for another opportunity to have a drink in the middle of your establishment." He goes, "Oh, hell no." He said, "I remember you from last year." So he said, "Look, I've been working with this monkey for an additional year. I promise it's not going to do anything I won't allow it to do." Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally agree. So the guy sits down, he orders a drink, has his drink, orders a salad, eats the salad. The guy's entree's about halfway through that, and the bartender walks up, and he goes, "My gosh," he goes, "I wouldn't even think that monkey's real, besides I've seen it blink a couple of times." He goes, "I know, he's not going to do anything that I don't tell him it's okay to do." And the bartender says, "Well, do you mind if I bring him some fruit?" He goes, "No, that's fine." So he goes over and he gets some cherries in a little bowl and brings it over there. The guy looks at his monkey and he nods. So the monkey reaches down, he picks a cherry up, sticks it right up his ass, and then he pulls it out and he eats the cherry. The bartender's going, "Oh my gosh," he said, "that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen." He goes, "Why in the world would your monkey take a cherry, stick it up his ass, and then eat it?" He goes, "Well, ever since the cue ball, he measures everything." Thank you so much for you guys that are leaving. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. The second session, let's get back at 10:10. All right?
Officers.